My name is Debbie. I'm married to my husband, Dave. We have 5 children. When we were expecting our 3rd child, Amy, there were complications with her birth. And I had heard about Jesus and heard about God when I was a teenager, but it was at this time that I really reached out and accepted Jesus as my Savior. 3 years later, we were expecting our 4th child, and we had a beautiful little girl. And when Emily was 2 days old, the pediatrician came in and told us our new baby had Down syndrome. When I heard that Emily had Down syndrome, it was unexpected. I was up for a challenge, but I was very surprised. I was very troubled. I wondered why this had been brought into our lives, this situation. I found it very difficult telling other people because they didn't know what to say, and I felt like I needed to comfort them as well as going through my own personal feelings of grief, really, at that time. I read every book that I could on having a child with Down syndrome, and we were just going to reach the top. Whatever was the best scenario, we were going to work hard. So I got into my teaching mode and made lesson plans daily and worked with Emily and worked and worked and worked. And at this point, I must say that working with her became my God. I was still obviously a believer and I was reading my Bible, but I wasn't reaching out to God as I could have during this time. I was taking things into my own hands. It was me trying to make her better. When Emily was a little girl, she always loved music and loved to dance in her room and perform for us.
Fully outgoing, I love horseback riding, reading, writing stories, dancing. Me and my mom love Taylor Swift.
So when a friend told us about rhythmic gymnastics and Special Olympics, it was just a natural fit, as it was for many of our friends who had young daughters. So we got together, a group of moms who knew nothing about the sport, and then just started it. And right from the get-go, Emily loved the performing part of it. She started to excel. She started to win competitions locally, and then it went to the provincial level, nationals, and even at the world level. We're just so proud of her. She's been to 3 World Games in 27, 11, and 15 in China, Athens, Greece, and in Los Angeles. We've met such amazing people all over the world. Thinking of being in China and not being able to speak the language, yet you can communicate, and they have this love and joy of supporting people and supporting their abilities, what they can do. So after the last World Games, Emily was getting a little bit older, and we decided to retire from rhythmic gymnastics. But she loves the sport so much. There was a new team starting in Georgetown, the Georgetown Sunflowers, and we approached them, and I knew the coach very well and asked if Emily could coach. Well, they were over the moon delighted, so that the adults didn't have to perform the moves to show them. They could use Emily, and she would be there to help out. And it's been amazing. Emily gets invited to the coaches' meetings, the coaches' end-of-the-year parties, and they treat her with such respect, and she's very proud to wear her t-shirt that says Coach on the sleeve. When I look back on my life and raising Emily, when she was about 4 years old, I was looking at her growth and her development, and she was doing so well. And I was still pushing, and it was at that point that I think that I fully accepted the daughter that Jesus had given us. and realize that he was going to take the lead on this and that I could fully trust him. It wasn't something that I needed to keep taking over and thinking that I could fix. It didn't need to be fixed. She was perfection the way that she was. And she was in the Lord's hands, and I needed to follow him. Emily's faith is amazing. To Emily, Jesus makes sense. She loves to worship. That's her favorite part of the service.
I love Jesus. I love singing. I love communion.
Emily is a prayer warrior. She has prayed for her sisters and brothers. She has seen answers to her prayer. I asked her the other day even if she prays before she goes to a competition, for example, and she says that she does. She was made in the image of God, and she was made perfect the way she is, and his glory can be fulfilled through her life every bit as much as it can, and more than mine.
Always follow your dreams, make it happen, and let's love what you do.